Hello, good evening, and welcome to Number Station. Number Station is an online radio station that trawls the sea of kilohertz in search of shortwave oddities and amateur radio transmissions. This evening, I want to talk about something I'm particularly interested in, and it's all about radios, obviously, but in particular, pirate radios. And for those also interested in the topic, may I quickly draw your attention to the Number Station website, where not only will you get the opportunity to listen to archived recordings that we've previously found on the air, but there's also opportunities to mix your own, but build your own number stations. And clicking on that section, you'll be greeted by a variety of different guides, mod hacks and videos, all surrounding FM transmitters. Don't forget, as it says at the bottom, these projects are just for fun, just like what I'm going to be talking in a moment, and terms and conditions apply, obviously. Now, I'm a big fan of radio. I have been ever since I was young, listening to the radio, especially listening to shortwave frequencies, being able to grab snippets of people's stories, curiosities, plucking them out of the ether. But what also has fascinated me is the concept of pirate radio, being able to occupy a space that not many people get the opportunity to. And this is why it led me to get my amateur radio license later on. But pirate radio has always fascinated me, and there's a long history of pirate radio online that you can watch and read up on. But I thought I'd just show you a proof of concept, an idea that I've recently been working on. And it all surrounds an idea based on something that almost came to fruition during lockdowns. We were wanting to do sort of a drive-in event when people had to social distance at the time. So we thought maybe we could transmit to cars in a car park or an area so people could tune in and be involved in a group activity, but maintaining social distance and being safe. Here is my current setup. As you can see here, it comprises of a few parts. The important one is the transmitter. Now, this transmitter is the CZE-05B, a Chinese cheap transmitter, and I know if you were to Google this, you would get bombarded by people's opinions on it, but it served its purpose for what we wanted. It can actually broadcast on 0.1 watts, but also half a watt as well. And when it's at full power, we did a quick range test, and blimey, it goes quite a way. Height is might in this case as well, so because we were quite high up, we were able to cover quite a bit of distance as we got in our cars and drove to do a range check. I also think car radios are a little bit more sensitive than ordinary handheld FM radios, so I suspect car radios are better at picking up weaker frequencies, hence why we were able to get a greater range. But this idea we had during lockdowns never came to anything. It sort of fizzled out. There was a lot going on at the time, but I still got this transmitter. It's mains powered, and the adapter one day just started smoking, heating up, and that was the end of that. Luckily, it didn't affect the transmitter at all. And now I've got it running off a battery. So it's a battery pack of like 8 AA batteries, which makes it completely portable. Perfect for this little project. Again, just a reminder, this is proof of concept. This is just an idea. Regular listeners will know that I like to write software. Like to solve a problem using code. And here we have a little bit of software, well, a web page actually, that manages my little radio station. We're a big fan of the Fallout games in our household, so I started to put together a radio station that plays and cycles through all the songs featured in the game, calling it Vault Radio. It cycles through them randomly, making sure that the same song is never repeated. It could repeat probably every 4 times, but it is random, but it keeps a check on what's been played previously to avoid repetition. But every now and again is able to interrupt the songs with a time check and a reminder of the station that you're listening to. There's also the option to add a message. So being portable, I had imagined this being out in the field somewhere, high up, being transmitted, and I'm here at home being able to send messages to it. But more of that later. So where was I going to put this transmitter? Well, I'm now going to subject you to some terrible drawing. I live near a very infamous A road. It's well known for being a pretty terrible main road. And as the traffic creeps along, it goes into a dip close by where I live. And as you're coming down the hill, your car radio cuts out. It can't receive your signal if you're listening to, say, a BBC radio station. And at the bottom of this hill, there's another village. And in that village, right next to the road, there is a telephone box. A traditional red telephone box that is no longer a telephone box. It is in fact a library. So I thought this would be perfect to put this setup inside the telephone box. Because then, as radios cut out coming down the hill, and they remain silent for a good part of the journey through the village until they climb out the dip, I could hijack that signal with Vault Radio. But transmitting over a station's signal is never a good idea. It'll always stir up bad vibes, a bad feeling, even if that signal cuts out and a person's receiver is no longer receiving it, as in this case. So now you can see on my transmitter I've got 87.5. Why is 87.5 important? Well, it's right at the beginning of the dial on most people's radio, 87.5. No stations broadcasting on it, and because you can easily tune to it just by turning the dial right to the end to get to 87.5. Whenever people use in-car FM transmitters, they usually set it to this frequency. How do I know? Well, I've been stuck in these traffic jams myself. And if you turn to 87.5, you can pick up a lot of people's transmissions, in-car transmissions, get a little insight into their musical tastes. It's really interesting to see. And I do know in one of the towns close by that there is somebody broadcasting constantly on 87.5, and you can actually pick it up on one of the main roundabouts on this infamous A road. So instead of hijacking an existing signal as they come down the hill, I thought we could just do 87.5. And okay, the signal is not going to dip out as they come down, but as they pass my telephone box, my transmitter, most of the time I would imagine, would be the stronger of the two signals, and so it will override what they're listening to in their car. That's the plan anyway. Let's expand the idea further. So we have our village here, yep, and this is the windy A road, which is terrible to drive at the best of times. At regular intervals, we have laybys with takeaway caravans in. Bear with me. And so I thought it'd be really a good idea if I made this piece of software available for all. And what they can do, they can use one of my guides from the numberstation.co.uk website to put together their own hacked FM transmitter and maybe broadcast Volt Radio to their little catchment in the lay-by, and as they approach the lay-by too. And so it won't be long before we have little pockets of Volt Radio. Going one further, I added a little feature to add a message. So not only does it interrupt the songs with a timestamp and a little reminder of the station you're listening to, there's also the option to add a message. So I could be at home here, here's me in my little house, and I can push messages to each instance of Volt Radio, and I can also see, as you can see here, how many people will be online at once. The takeaway sellers will also have the opportunity to add messages to, being able to push messages to others, other stations as well as their own, and it works by using a list, a cloud-based list. So basically, what it does is after a particular amount of time has passed, the app will do a check, and it will check to see if there are any messages queued in this list. If there isn't, it will just do the time instead. I put a message in, it puts a message in, and maybe here as well. This takeaway van puts a message in, a little shout out, and they start to get queued up. And what the system does, that if there is a message present in the list, it'll take it out and it will announce it before deleting it from the list, and so on and so forth. I think after every 3 messages in the row, it will eventually do a time stamp before continuing going through the list of messages. It's rather simple in principle. It's been a bit of testing with it. It's quite a lot of fun. So yeah, this is my pirate radio setup. It's literally done on a shoestring, and the range of this thing is just incredible, considering it's a cheap Chinese transmitter. And the nice thing is, because it's all run off battery after the mains adapter started smoking, and overheating. It all fits into a nice handlebar bag for a bicycle, so I can easily ride it out anywhere, park up and start transmitting if I wanted to. So yeah, that's my little rig. I see lots of pictures and descriptions of people's rigs from time to time, always impressed at how clever people are at thinking outside the box and getting round problems, and just, I think the trick is to learn how to work with what you've got, looking for ways to do this on the cheap and just try and put something together based on the kit that you currently have, and I think I've managed that without a doubt. So if you're ever passing, tune to 87.5. You really don't know what you're going to listen to, and hopefully you might pick up Volt Radio. You never know. Anyway, that's my pirate radio idea. I might discuss future developments on future episodes of Number Station. But like I said before, head on over to the numberstation.co.uk website, and there you'll find, in the Make Your Own Number Station sections, guides on how to modify those in-car FM transmitters so you can increase the range. But also there's other projects inspired by pirate radio and number stations too. Because it's quite a visual episode, it's a bit of a show and tell. This is only going out on YouTube this evening. So if you have made it this far and you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Right, let's check the bands out, shall we? Let's cast our ambient net into the sea of kilohertz to see what oddities we can pull out of the ether this evening.
Element Delta Golf 6 Tango Golf, einstehender Rufzeit natürlich Echo Alpha 5 Quelle Bravo. Alles Gute, viele Grüße, Dankeschön, ciao. Ja, 10 Meter, ja, ich liebe 10 Meter, aber ja, manchmal ist nicht so funktioniert. Alles Gute, danke. Ciao. Where's that? EA5 Queen Bravo, here's that. There's Hotel 3. Delta. The summer has returning. We have a couple of days now with a very high temperatures around 20-23 degrees. So very nice weather and a clear sky. So hopefully we'll keep on a couple of days before the autumn comes even to the south of Sweden. So back to you there, Oscar Hotel 6 Lima Hotel Bravo, Sugar Mike 7 Lima Kilo Hotel. Okay, very good. Yeah, Mike 7 Lima Kilo Hotel, Hotel 6 Lima Hotel Bravo returning. Okay, very fine. Your signal drop a little bit, so but no copy, no problem whatsoever. Yes, we have some minus degrees last night, so here we are, but according to forecast next week we are going to have very heavy rain showers, so temperatures went up, so I think plus 10 degrees, but yes, also this night will be very cold, maybe below 0 degrees, so the winter is very soon, yeah, I think, but yeah, 20 degrees sounds very wonderful, so yeah, nice to hear that you are having still.
Lima Alpha 2, Uniform Juliet Delta.
Italy, Uniform 1, Mike Radio Hotel. Okay, Mike, Radio Hotel, no problem. Thank you very much. I have to put you in another way here on the QRZ. Yeah, I found you there. Nice to meet you again. We have had some QSO before. Roberto, we had one in 2019, 2020, and 2023, and now into 24. Nice to meet you again. This is our fourth QSO. Oh, you're doing very fine, very strong. You went over nearly 10 to 20 over 9 here, so I have no problem to copy you. Thank you very much for the contact. 73 and ciao. Ciao, bye, 73, good luck. India Uniform 1. Was that Charlie something? India Uniform 4, Lima Radio Charlie. Thank you very much for calling in. Copy you well. You're 5 and 9, over. Thank you very much. You're doing very well into Scandinavia. No problem to copy you. I'm switching with my antennas here to see if there is any difference, but some I hear better on the dipole, some I hear better on the beam, so depends where you are, guys. Nice to meet you, Sebastian, I think it is, and you're doing very well. This is our first QSO, so nice to meet you for the first time, over. Thank you very much to you too. Nice to meet you. Anybody else? Lima Alpha 2, United Japan Alpha, listening, over. India Uniform 1. Yeah, Oscar Hotel 3, Bravo, Kilo, November. Thank you very much for calling in. Copy you well. 5 and 9, over. Copy you very well. No problem at all, Carly. You're doing well. And thank you very much for calling in. Carly Sebon. I wonder if we spoke before. I'll have a look here. And you're using a dipole at the moment. I see on your picture we have a hex beam, over. India Uniform 1.
I understand that. Maybe some reason for that. Very fine. I'm running a 1.5 kW here, and the antennas OptiBeam, as you said, and the ICOM equipment is here at the moment. I have other radios. I have a lot of radios here, and you can see there. It's not all what you see there in QRZ. I have a lot of them here. So I don't have a tube radio, but most of them are very, very new. So that's what I'm using here. Running at the moment the IC7850 here with the PW1 from ICOM. I have also the 7800, the Mark II version. I have the R9000, the mil-spec version. Not many knows about that. There's not many we have produced. I think around 90 unit from the R9000 mil-spec, and I bought it from a guy who was
and the normal signal on.
I wonder how he's coping well, he is actually, because he's going quieter and quieter. I know what's happening. I can read it live. We have a new company coming, covering Northwest, a big company from Ellesmere Port. Got a lot more wagons, a lot more people on the road, and they're quicker. You know, and they have specialist wagons for specialist jobs, you know. They invested in this machine, it's 60 grand. You know, these very, very low cars you can't get on. It goes underneath, it slides its way underneath, so if it's locked, like a lot of these electric cars lock themselves on battery dies, you can move them no problem. Same to dealerships. So. You don't want to invest the money, so it's going to go. As my dad says, if you don't go forward, you go backwards very quick, and that's what's happening. Cheese Air, Whiskey Oscar Alpha.
Yeah, 20XM returning mine. Yeah, that's exactly right. And to be quite honest, from what you've told me about them, then I doubt he would want to invest that, because from what you said, he's already invested in the equipment he's got, and I think he's thinking that's going to set him up for retirement, sell that equipment. But unfortunately, it's going to be old and potentially out of date by the time he wants to do that. Yeah, you got to spend money to make money. The just keep on top of the changing technology. It's the same in any kind of business. Some move faster than others, like pace of computing. Change is just phenomenal. But don't change. You won't die out. So yeah, sorry.
So that's Vicky. And they were back with him, and he said they're absolutely brilliant. If they save one of them, John, you have to charge overnight. And he said they're absolutely fantastic. They certainly are. Yeah, we're having quite a good holiday. It poured down yesterday morning till about 10 o'clock, and then it took up. And same again this morning, and then it took up. We've been out for a meal, and been up top, and had a bit of a run round, and watching them surfing. And woman went down with a horse, and it went right down the fence and saying, you could think you were urging if you weren't having anything. She turned around and walked away, and as much as she tried, John, it just would not have anything. M0 JBC, M0 CNU, 141.
0CZU and 0 JBC, both portable. Oh, well, anyway, it's time. I didn't know this chap, but he was in Bolton, and he would come walking along, and I said, got a false leg, mate? He says, yeah, and he was telling me about it. And he says, I trust this leg more than I trust my other one, my real leg. I says, oh, he says, I'm a roofer by trade. I says, oh, he says, and I'm back roofing. He says, and that's how I found out how good it is. Now, whether or not it was because he was working, he says, after 6 months, he took mobility off me. So, it's, touch and go, but I put that forward to the
to Echo Zero Foxtrot.
Doing to you.
Thanks very much for the news. Your end stopping signal with me. I didn't have a chance to put 4 meters on, but 2 meters is absolutely fine. And C was about 5.9, and not as usual, louder than 5.9. Thanks very much, Eddie.
Okay, you are most welcome. Just one more last chance, please.
To Echo Zero Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha.
2 Echo 0, is it?
Yeah, 2 Echo Zero Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha, FWA. Name Simon. Thank you very much for the news tonight.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Thanks for calling in. Is that it? Any more calls before we go? Well, I'm on the right frequency, so come on. Nothing heard. Until next week. 7-3 everybody. Thanks for calling in. It's been appreciated. It's the Golf Zero Victor with the Tango now closing down on 2. And if you just come in at the end of the news, we're going to do it all again on 433525. GB3SX 6-meter repeater and GB7ST the DMR repeater in Stoke-on-Trent, North Staffordshire at Alpha 6. 7-3 Golf Zero Victor with the Tango now gone.
And that's the perfect time for us to finish. I hope you've enjoyed this trip around the bands this evening and our little chat about piratical radios. Just to remind you, we do have a website, numberstation.co.uk, where you can listen to archived recordings as well as mixing your own against a selection of ambient backing tracks. There's also the Build Your Own Number Station link for guides about FM transmitters if you want to explore more about what we've been discussing earlier. There's also the opportunity to be the envy of your friends by requesting a Number Station listener sticker. Just follow the link and drop me an email, and I'll send one out to you wherever you are in the world. Anyway, we'll leave it there this evening. Thanks for listening, and hopefully see you again soon.